Today, we are going to prepare a checklist. A checklist not for grocery shopping, not for the perfect date night, but a comprehensive checklist for someone who's out there going to buy their first health insurance. Now, the first time of anything is very special. So we want to make this special for you as well. What I did was I did my research. I came up with top 10 things that you need to check before getting a health insurance. I then quickly ran to the most friendly face in the office, Supreet, who is our senior program manager here at Ditto and has an impressive track record of advising over 4,000 clients. And guess what? My checklist tallies with his as well. What do you feel about that, Supreet?
Glad to be here, Shashank, as always. Yeah, pretty important, I feel, having a checklist before you buy your first health insurance. There are multiple factors that you need to consider, which we'll obviously be discussing in our video. Having spoken to a lot of people and also, having seen a lot of claims as well. So I think I can now understand certain things, right? Now what we advise during the purchase. I know the reason behind all those things now, and everything is, regarding the claim side. Most of it, I feel, is to help people avoid claim rejections. Glad to share my top 10 checklist before you purchase your first health insurance.
Great. Thanks for, again, super introduction again to the topic. So without any delay, let's get right into it. So for the ease of our audience, let's do this. Let's go point-wise and in order. So from 1 through 10. So what comes in your top 1?
So my topmost priority, I think I would give it to the declaration of existing illnesses. So I think we have spoken enough about this in our previous videos as well. The importance of declaration. I think more than 60 to 70% of claim rejections that happen are because of this one reason of not declaring certain health conditions. So back in the day, when agents used to sell policies, right? I mean, they were more concerned about just selling a policy, getting their commissions. It's a fact that when you don't declare certain health conditions, the issuance of policy becomes easier, right? The insurers are not concerned because it works on faith here. So it works on good faith here. So they don't really get into the details of investigating or probably having a pre-policy check. So if there are no conditions, insurers feel that, okay, there's a perfect guy I want to insure. The chances of me spending is very less. So issue the policy, right? Okay. So if there are declarations though, now the insurers will have second thoughts. Now the risk is more on them now, right? Now I'll be most likely to be shelling out more money in the future. So should I issue or not? So there could be an investigation. So agents are aware of this and they kind of convince people not to declare. It used to happen back in the day and maybe few places here even now as well. 2024, I think people are much aware. They know the importance of filling an application and not giving any misleading information or not withholding any information. Coming back, declaration is really important. So when I say declaration, what all one should declare, right? Now, any ongoing medications, let's say for BP, diabetes, thyroid, I think these are some of the common things that I've noticed. Any encounter with hospitals, right? It could be some sort of a medical treatment, some surgeries that have been performed in the past, current medications or past medications. So maybe you can ignore your common flu and your stomach upsets once in a while, but if it is something that is recurring, is something again you might have to declare, or any investigative test. This is really important. I think can I share a story here?
Yeah, please go on.
This is actually an ongoing thing, ongoing case here. So one of our clients did their application on their own, although we kind of tell a lot of our clients that, hey, please take our help while doing the application so that we can guide you while filling in the details. But probably this person didn't have the time or wanted to do it on their own. They did the application, got it issued. I mean, this happened last year, and this year they came in for a claim. and the claim got rejected. Now, when we started investigating why this claim got rejected, so the client of ours failed to declare an angiography test that he had done way back in 2016. So this was an investigative test. Although there was nothing adverse in those tests, no adverse findings, but still some investigative tests as serious as an angiography should be declared at the time of purchase.
Okay, even though if it's just a test and not a ongoing medical,
Right.
treatment.
So the important thing here is while filling the proposal form, there are a list of questions, right? There is a questionnaire, and the questions are designed in such a way that insurers kind of get to know about the complete medical history.
Okay.
So there's no room for any doubt there, right? So one particular question was, had you undergone any investigative tests in the past, right? To which the client had said no, whereas he had undergone a test, and which later came up during the claim, because he was hospitalized for a similar reason. And obviously for doctors, you can't hide these facts, right? So you're supposed to share it with the doctors and it goes on the reports. So we are still fighting though. We're trying our best to have a defense here. We're just checking during the telemedicals if this was mentioned at any point, or also the fact that there were no adverse findings. Maybe there is still a hope. Still ongoing though. I can't probably share more details on the outcome of it. But again, coming back to the question, now this again reassures my point that declaring anything, any medical history, right, should be, that's the topmost priority.
Right.
Also, sorry, one more thing if I can add. Now, one common question that I get asked is, see, hey, Supreet, I can only declare what I know of, right? Now, how do I declare something that I don't know of? And I'm worried that insurers will come back later and tell me that, hey, this is something that you had not declared at the time of purchase.
Right.
But then I wasn't even aware. So, yeah, couple of things can be done here. So one, if you have that doubt, you can get a full body checkup done. I know it might cost some money, but better to be safe than sorry, and you are absolutely sure before entering those details that whether you have a certain condition or not. Two, it should be still okay to go ahead by declaring what you know of, because the insurers can come back at you only if at some point you tell them that you had such condition.
Understood.
Right. So if you're not aware now, then we're assuming that you were not aware later as well. So it should still go in your favor. But if you don't want to gamble, because insurers are a bit tricky. So better to get a physical test done just to be absolutely sure before purchasing the policy.
Understood. There's also a running joke in the insurance sector. First, it was never lie to your lawyer, police, or doctors. Now we've added to your insurers as well. Don't lie to them.
Please don't lie to them. See, I understand where that is coming from, but makes complete sense, right? The risk is on us. Now we are paying money every year, and with the reason that at some point, if something goes wrong, the insurers are going to cover for me. Right. And we don't want to risk it, like say 5-10 years, you pay heavy premiums, and then suddenly you find out that, hey, I'm not going to cover for you because of so and so reason. It's not good news at all. So
it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
So point number one, please declare everything at the time of application. I think if you have any doubts while purchasing, please do get in touch. I think have a call with us. I think we'll be able to tell you clearly, and you can take our help while filling the details as well.
Now, that being said, Supreet, coming back, what is second on your list?
Second on my list would be to be aware of the waiting periods in the policy, waiting periods and the exclusions. Again, another reason why claims get rejected is because no one is filing for a claim during the waiting period. We have spoken to a few guys who didn't buy policy from us. They have bought it somewhere else, and they just come back and want a second opinion on why their claims got rejected or how they can avoid it in the future. Failure to understand the terms and conditions, right? Now, whenever we purchase a policy, there are different types of waiting periods. It's not just one type or one, couple of things. There are There could be 3 or more as well sometimes. Usually, these are the types of waiting periods that are there in a policy. The initial 30-day, so the first 30 days, no matter any hospitalization will not be covered.
Apart from accidents.
Apart from accidents. So, except for accidents, any illness, any disease, any kind of surgeries will not be covered. But like you said, except for accidents. 2, there is a pre-existing condition waiting period. Okay, if there are certain conditions declared at the time of purchase, so one would have to wait for, say, a 3 or a 4 years, depending on what the policy says. So not just for that particular condition, but anything related to that also, right? So
give me an example for PDs and related illnesses.
Right. Let's say I have declared hypertension as my pre-existing condition. Few months later, now I get hospitalized and the doctor says that, hey, there are blockages in my artery and might have to insert a couple of stents and do an angioplasty surgery, right? So now angioplasty surgery is not declared as a pre-existing condition, right? Nothing related to the heart is declared as a pre-existing condition, but hypertension is declared. So that it's easy for the doctors to say that because of your hypertensive nature, the angioplasty had to be done. I mean, the blockages happened because of that. It's not just the illness, it's anything related to that where the insurers can prove that a certain hospitalization has happened because of your existing illness.
Understood.
Right? Now, this also something that I can speak about. Now, sometimes claim rejections happen where the client is like, hey, I mean, it's totally not related. I mean, I declared, let's say, a minor condition like thyroid, but I am getting a UTI. I'm getting hospitalized for a UTI. And then the insurer declines saying this is because of your existing health condition. So again, not every time the insurers are right. Now, and the onus is on us also sometimes to prove that it is not related. Yeah. So what can help here is a declaration from the treating doctor. I think that will stand out for both parties. I think both parties will probably follow what the treating doctor says. If the doctor declares saying that, hey, it was totally an unrelated illness, nothing to do with the pre-existing condition, insurers have to go back and they have to settle the claim.
Great. Yeah. Now that's quite insightful. The second point. What's third on your list?
Yeah, the third type of waiting period, which is called as the specific illness waiting period or named illnesses waiting period, usually which is around a couple of years, 2 years in most policies. And they have a list of 20-25 illnesses. I mean, not major. I can say that these are some minor treatments, frequently occurring treatments like, say, a cataract treatment or a hernia treatment, or let's say a knee replacement, kidney stones. So these type of illnesses come under this list. And many people don't talk about this because, I mean, they are usually focusing on selling you a policy and not educating you. But I mean, once you purchase the policy, for the first 2 years, you won't be able to claim for these illnesses. So very important to be aware of this, not to make a claim during the waiting period. Obviously, it will get rejected. I mean, even Ditto can't do anything, right? I mean, we can fight for cases where there is some merit, but if you're making a claim during your waiting periods, I think it's going to get rejected no matter what. So the waiting periods, again, just to sum it up, very important, guys. Just make sure that you're aware of what are the different types of waiting periods. It is available in the policy document, clearly listed, the different types. So you can just go through that once. Along with the waiting periods, there's a list of permanent exclusions as well. So permanent exclusions could be probably narrowed down to 2 separate lists. One is the general exclusions and one will be a policy specific exclusion. So again, very important to go through these lists. Now, general exclusions, for some examples that I can give, probably a cosmetic surgery is not good, or self-inflicted injury, or alcohol-related illnesses, substance abuse, right? Treatment undertaken in a non-standard hospital, from a doctor who is not licensed, for example. So there's a list of these things which is categorized under general exclusions. And then there is a policy specific exclusion as well. For example, a certain policy may not cover maternity, right?
Right.
May not cover an OPD, or a dental treatment. So these are some policy specific exclusions. Now, again, which is important for you to whenever you're purchasing, just check with your insurer or the person who's trying to explain you the product. Just ask them what are the different types of specific exclusions that a policy has.
All right. Very brief, that one. Now let's head to the third point. What's on your list?
So now that I'm clear on how I can avoid claim rejections, I think now I can focus on probably narrowing down the best of the companies. There are multiple metrics that are available on websites, and a simple Google search should fetch the results. You can consider metrics like claim settlement ratio, complaints ratio, list of network hospitals. So, I mean, sometimes the total number of hospitals may not give you the real picture. So, you should probably make sure that you're aware of the network hospitals in your area, in your region, in your town or city, where you're more likely to avail medical treatment, right? I think that's more important than the total number, Some companies boast of 12,000, 14,000, 15,000, but what about in your area? Do they have a good coverage or not? Now, why network hospitals is important? If one takes a medical treatment in a network hospital, then the entire process of claiming becomes cashless, right? So one need not pay anything at the time of discharge. The insurer directly settles the claim with the hospital. So you don't have to pay anything out of pocket.
Ideal case scenario.
Ideal case scenario, right. Yeah, coming back to settlement ratio, I think we spoke about settlement ratio as well. Very important factor. So my suggestion is to probably research the IRDAI reports for the right numbers. Some of the numbers marketed by the insurers, even the insurers that we recommend, right? I mean, when you go to their websites, the numbers are looks a bit inflated. That's what I mean. Here at Ditto, we don't do that. Even if you're recommending or if you have tied up with a company, we still maintain the numbers as per the IRDAI reports. Now, this is very important to be honest and like transparent also. I mean, numbers don't lie, right? I mean, if the settlement ratios are on the higher side, it's a clear indication that they are settling better. And so companies who are settling better, usually the premiums are slightly on the higher side because obviously they're spending a lot of money to settle claims, so they want to make up for it. So yeah, settlement ratio is also a very good metric. I think somewhere around 90 up plus is a good number. And yeah, anything less than 90 is something that you should probably avoid.
All right. So that is take a look at the operational metrics of the company. That's your point 3.
Right. And
now,
also, sorry, I just missed one point there. Just to add to that list of things, also find an insurer who has been around for a very long time. So that's also an important metric because I mean, in the last 3-4 years of Ditto, we have seen many companies coming up and just fizzing out. So they come with a lot of promises, unlimited this, unlimited that, premiums very less. People end up purchasing them, but then when at that couple of years later, when you go to them for claims, absolutely no service, right? So don't make that mistake. So go for a company probably that has been around for more than at least 8 to 10 years. They know how to get things done. They know how to process a claim. So wait, I mean, even if some of the new companies are, they look promising, we'll just wait for a few more years to see if their settlement numbers are justified. Because when they're new, they would have hardly received any claims, right? So you can't really determine how well they are settling. So when the sample size increases over a period of time, you can clearly have an understanding if a company is doing well.
All right, Supreet, what's fourth on your list?
Now that I have understood a bit about how to choose the right company, my next step probably would be to find a policy that offers the best features, right? So when I say best features, this is probably where insurance gets a bit complicated and a bit dry also at some point. There are tons of things that an insurance policy covers you, right? There are a lot of benefits, coverages, and each benefit, each feature, each coverage will have their sub-clauses, their own terms and conditions of how much they cover. So it becomes a bit complicated here, but yeah, I mean, if one is willing to go through the policy document, and you'll find a lot of these finer details there. What usually people call as loopholes, right? And this is where the loopholes are, the terms and conditions for each feature. So just to sum it up, now, yeah, just make sure the features are good. Now, when I say good, my top three priority, I mean, probably this is for a healthy individual, I'm saying, rooms with absolutely no restrictions, right? I have seen policies where they refer to room as no limit, but then they have a category-wise restriction saying single private room.
Oh, okay.
Right now, that's the finer detail. Now, if someone misses that, and then years later one gets hospitalized, they're not aware of this restriction, they end up choosing a higher category room, then you're ending up paying a lot out of your pocket because of that room rent restriction.
Correct.
So yeah, again, to avoid this, the best thing that you can do is to select policy. I think these days, some of the newer plans that these companies are coming with, I think they all have this feature where there is absolutely no restriction in terms of rooms. So that would be my first thing. And second, yeah, make sure that there are no co-payments. Now, what is co-payment? Co-payment is something where you agree upon at the time of purchase that, hey, when a bill of say 1 lakh comes up, then I will be paying the 20% of it, and the insurance company will pay 80% of it. So I'm agreeing that the part of the payment, I will take care of at the time of discharge. Now, a couple of reasons why this could be there on the policy. Probably the premiums will slightly go down if you choose this option, or probably it's there by default in the plan. But again, 20% now, 20% of 1 lakh might seem like something that you can manage, but what if the bill is on the higher side, right? I would rather pay a few thousands extra and get a good health insurance policy without any copay, so that I don't have to worry about it at the time of discharge.
All right.
So yeah, just make sure there are no co-payments in your policies. And three, again, very important, should not have any kind of limits when it comes to diseases. Seen multiple policies having some or the other restriction when it comes to certain treatments, say heart surgery, or even something as minor as cataract, not more than 20K, not more than 25K, knee replacement, not more than a 50K. So I think I've seen this in most of the PSUs and a couple of Star Health plans as well. Again, these days, the policies that are coming up these days, they don't have these limits, but still, make sure that you go through the policy document. And sometimes this will be, again, some of the finer details in the document. No, it's not very easily visible. So you might have to read through the entire terms and conditions. So yeah, some of these finer details can be a bit overwhelming. Yeah, please feel free. Again, I know I keep saying this again and again, but without any intention of probably giving you a policy, we are more than happy to educate you, let you know the finer details of the terms and conditions. Let's say one has already purchased a policy and they just want to review it, understand the terms and condition, please reach out to us. We are more than happy to give our time and help you with understanding your own policy.
Moving on to the next point, what's on your fifth?
Okay, now just to recap, now we know how to fill an application, declare everything, and make sure we understand the waiting periods in the policy, and try to narrow down the best of the companies through metrics like CSR, complaints ratio, some of the main features, copay, room rent restriction, and disease-wise limits. Now, once the main features are sorted, now I can look at other features as well in the policy. Now, there are, like I said earlier, there are a lot of features, a lot of benefits when you sign up for a policy. Yeah, start with, now there's something called as pre and post hospitalization. Usually the understanding is, hey, if I get admitted to a hospital, now I'm only covered for the duration while I was hospitalized, but then you also get covered for all the expenses that you incurred for that particular illness. There's a bit of a time period here, maybe 30 days before or 60 days before the admission. and say 6 months after, 180 days after the discharge. So some of the best policies have 60, 180, that is 60 days before, 180 days after the discharge. So whatever expenses, now this could include your doctor consultations, could include your medicines, probably something like a physiotherapy. So all of these things get covered on a reimbursement basis. So keep those bills handy if at all you're spending on anything related. So you can definitely claim for those, as a part of the pre or post hospitalization.
Understood.
Okay. And along with this, there are other features like daycare treatments. Now, again, need not be a hospitalization, as in need not be a 24-hour hospitalization to make a claim, even for a lesser duration. Let's say now we get admitted during the day and probably get discharged during the evening, right? It's a minor procedure done. Now, due to advancement of medical technology, now these days the surgeries that used to take a couple of days at a hospital is probably being done in half a day these days, right?
Great. Yeah.
So you do get covered medical treatments like say dialysis, chemotherapy, or minor surgeries like appendicitis, or maybe kidney stones also. And anything probably where there is the use of anesthesia, it would probably be considered as a daycare treatment, and it does get covered in some of the best policies. So other than that, there is Ayush treatment, where one can claim for any expenses made towards alternate treatments, right? If somebody is into Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, things like this, and if it's a treatment related hospitalization. So couple of things here. The hospitalization should be in a government certified Ayush center, and it has to be a 24-hour hospitalization, and should be treatment related. It can't be it has to be treatment related. It can't be a recreational activity, right? Now, just for an Ayurvedic massage, probably the insurers won't cover for it. I mean, I know you would have loved it, but unfortunately, no, insurers don't cover for that. So they only cover for medical emergencies, right?
Understood.
So other features, if I can talk about, there's something called as domiciliary treatment as well, although haven't seen many claims for this so far. Now, in a situation where one cannot be taken to a hospital, or let's say if one can prove that there were no rooms available nearby. This happened during COVID actually, and a lot of people couldn't get rooms in hospitals for the treatment. So what happened is they ended up converting their own probably rooms into a hospital room and ended up getting a treatment at home. Right? What could have been done in a hospital, probably they ended up getting it done at home. Now this is domiciliary treatment. So although now probably it's something this could be rare, but you can never rule out. I mean, if it's a benefit, why not? I mean, we'll still consider it. But yeah, a couple of clauses. Also, please make sure that you go through the terms and conditions. So you have to be probably hospitalized for a certain number of days before you claim for it, and obviously can be done on a reimbursement basis only. So other than that, I mean, your ambulance covers, good to have ambulance covers, I feel. And yeah, just to summarize, there are a lot of other features in your health insurance policy. I think it's good to understand each of these features and what benefits they offer, and how you can make a claim at different stages, different scenarios. And also, please go through the auxiliary points, the terms and conditions for each of these features, because the headline might say that, hey, we'll cover you so and so, but then there will be some point saying that only if.
Understood.
So it's very important to understand those things as well.
Understood. All right, Supreet. Now, folks, as you can see that Supreet is giving very, very fine details. So we don't want you to miss out on these details or get bored. So this marks the end of part 1 of our video. Now, stay tuned for the part 2, where we will cover the rest 5 major checkpoints that you need to consider before buying a health insurance. Now, if you like this video, then please drop a like for Supreet. And if you have any queries in the first 5 points that we covered, please drop them in the comments and we will answer them. And folks, let me again remind you, part 2 is coming your way really soon. And until then, happy insurance hunting.